Hello and welcome to coverage of Grand Prix Minneapolis. I'm Marshall Sutcliffe in the booth with Randy Buehler, and we have a nice feature match for you here in round 10. We've got two Pro Tour champions.
Absolutely.
Luis Scott Vargas also happens to be a Hall of Famer, playing against our newest Pro Tour champion, Sean McLaren here. And I see that Luis has once again opted for lands on top, much to my dismay.
He switched it up yesterday. He lost a game one, and he switched it up, and he hasn't lost since. Well, he lost the last round of the Swiss. Maybe he switched back in the last round of the Swiss.
So he's got turn one Noble Hierarch here. He's playing Birthing Pod. He's playing against number 19th ranked player on the top 25 pro rankings right now, Sean McLaren.
Yeah, McLaren is... See the Celestial Colonnade? That was certainly, it's blue, white, red, just like his Pro Tour winning deck. He did mix it up a bit here this weekend, though. It's not the same list. The blue, white, red, he went super control-ish in Valencia, Pro Tour Born of the Gods, because in particular, he wanted the best Zoo matchup he could possibly get. This weekend, he's not expecting as much Zoo. He's expecting more combo, so he's gone combo himself. He's actually got 3 Kiki-Jikis in his deck and 4 Restoration Angels. So he can he combo kills now.
Okay.
I mean, he's kind of blue-white. I'm not even quite sure what to call it. It's blue-white-red control, but with a combo finish.
Okay.
So
yeah, we've seen the version of this that uses a Splinter Twin combo as a finisher, but
no twins. It's just Kiki-Jiki.
Just Kiki-Jiki, which is interesting. So Luis Scott Vargas had played a Noble Hierarch on turn 1, but it got bolted. And he followed up with Wall of Roots, and now he's going to have 4 mana at his disposal after he cracks that Marsh Flats. But he is staring down 3 untapped mana and 4 cards or whatever in hand for Sean McLaren. So, all right, he's going to kick it off with Kitchen Finks here, though. A solid start if there ever was one.
Yeah, LSV has been mixed up his pod list as well. Main deck Thoughtseize for this weekend.
Interesting.
Not a normal choice for the pod deck, but it's what they've all been siding into all the time for the last couple of tournaments. So he just put the Thoughtseizes in the main.
I always just wonder what you have to give up to get those in there. Every slot in the pod deck is really important. There's combo finishes. There's silver bullets, as we call them. Certain creature cards that you can search up that really do perfectly great things against the right types of decks. Maybe it messes with their graveyard. Maybe it gains you a bunch of life. Maybe it kills a bunch of small creatures. And every slot of those matters when you're basically tutoring for creatures every time. So interesting to see the tweaks to the Birthing Pod list for sure. And Kitchen Finks has resolved. So McLaren does fetch on end step. He's got 3 mana here. Is that a lighthouse?
It is. Desolate Lighthouse.
Sweet.
Loot.
The Loot House, as it's known.
Yes, the Loot House.
I like that card a lot. Not sure how amazing it is for Modern, but...
Well, I mean, it's not there to combo with anything in particular. It's just like... If
value.
You've got enough colored lands, then you put a colorless land in your deck that will help you get to business.
Sure.
I mean, no, it's not amazing, but the cost of putting it into your deck is quite low.
Okay.
The colored mana in Modern between the fetch lands and the dual lands is good enough that it's just not that high of a cost.
All right, so here's an untapped Overgrown Tomb for Luis Scott Vargas, and he's going to play a Murderous Redcap now. But this is going to get counter-drawed by Cryptic Command. And Mana Leak off the top for Sean from the Cryptic Command. He also draws another land. So the land drops are going to keep flowing. He's got another counter spell at the ready. Though he is under pressure from that Kitchen Finks. It's getting...
A little bit, yeah.
It'll get annoying after a while for sure. There's another Scalding Tarn for Sean.
I mean, what? It's a 7-turn clock at this point. It's an eternity in Modern.
7 turns.
Oh, sorry. It's a 3-2. I was thinking I had it as a 2-1 in my head briefly. Yeah. It's 4 turns, which is still quite a long time.
Yeah. And here's one of those turns. So Sean's deciding if he wants to leave Mana Leak up or if he wants to play Restoration Angel for no value here. Pretty annoying for Sean. He's got Wall of Omens in his deck, and it would just be perfect to just have a wall, draw a card, block Kitchen Finks, maybe bounce it later on, or blink it, but doesn't have it right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of clever combos in Sean's deck between both the Restoration Angel and the Kiki-Jiki can reset Walls of Omens and Snapcaster Mages. Even Vendilion Click is nice value with those cards.
All right, he's going to actually just Electrolyze here, and that's going to let him kill the Kitchen Finks, take no damage this turn, draw a card, and have mana leak up. So
Right. Now it's
a lot of upside there.
Yes, I like that line a lot. Now it's the 7-turn clock I had in my head.
It is. Although down to 6 thanks to that fetch land.
This is the first of the 7, but
and there's the Birds of Paradise there for Luis. That is a sweet-looking Birds of Paradise, by the way.
Beta.
Yeah.
Beta. I talked to him yesterday. He was pretty proud of those.
I would be, too. That is gorgeous. Now things get interesting, though. He's played a Gavany Township, and he basically doesn't really need to commit anything else to the board. Now Sean has to start dealing with stuff on a one-for-one basis because Luis can just start sinking his mana into that Gavany Township every turn and just start growing his threats bigger and bigger and bigger. It gets out of hand actually quite quickly, and even something as innocuous as a Birds of Paradise becomes quite a threat.
Yeah, Gavany Township makes Luis's board suddenly very threatening.
Yeah.
Now I think McLaren is under quite a bit of pressure. Needs to kind of piece something together.
I think he's drawn that Wall of Omens.
Is there a path floating around his hand?
And there's also a path, and there's a Restoration Angel, Mana Leak, and a Arid Mesa, too.
So just lead with Wall of Omens, leaving up Angel and Leak?
Seems
and
fine
path.
to me.
Seems like
yeah, the
you
wall.
want to commit the 2 mana to the wall, right?
Yeah.
All right, step 1. You can hold off the Finks for a turn before the Township. Or no, it can't actually.
So Luis says, hold on a second, and he says, actually, in response, I'm just going to activate my Township.
Sure. Doesn't want to give Sean the ability to draw an answer card first. I mean, in particular, an Electrolyze off the top or even a Lightning Bolt off the top would have been able to kill Kitchen Finks.
That's right.
Whereas by having the Gavany Township's +1/+1 counter explode with the -1/-1 counter, now the Finks' persistability is relevant again.
And absolutely relevant there, too, because Sean did, in fact, draw a Lightning Bolt with it.
Wow.
And now he doesn't have. Now he's going to have to use his Path to Exile on that Kitchen Finks at some point down the line, potentially.
Probably here?
I mean, it will be big enough to get through the
Exactly,
the
yeah.
wall.
For a minute, I thought he could block with Wall of Omens, but if LSV leaves up Gavany Township mana, then
This
Wall.
is Eternal Witness now for LSV. He's
Interesting. Land Hierarch Red Cap.
Right. The other thing Sean McLaren has to always keep in mind here is the potential for a combo finish from Luis Scott Vargas as well.
True. Because for Red Cap.
There's Red Cap. Red Cap is part of an infinite damage combo.
He does not have Gavany Township mana, but he's threatening the Red Cap. Oh, is there a land off screen I didn't see?
I don't know. He put something on the battlefield, though. It gets mana leak, though. What was it? Oh, he just...
Oh, he played post-combat Red Cap to
just went
finish
for
off the wall. Okay,
yeah.
that makes sense.
Which made sense, because Sean knew that that was coming as well.
Yeah, so he goes for the Red Cap to finish off the wall after it blocked Kitchen Finks. It was 1 mana short of Gavany Township, and yeah, there's Path of Exile. Got to the end of the turn, used his Mana Leak mana. Just get rid of that Kitchen Finks.
Take a walk, Kitchen Finks.
Speaking of betas, I think the beta basics have been in this deck for a while.
Yes.
The beta birds are a new addition.
The beta birds that's a special thing.
Yeah, I actually
Those
talked
are
to
beautiful.
Luis when he went to Richmond. He was willing to buy them there, but no dealer had 4.
Okay.
He wasn't gonna mix it up. He wasn't gonna.
Those are hard to come
get
by.
them one at a time.
Yeah.
But one of the dealers here this weekend apparently had 5.
Yeah, they are gorgeous.
Does not have 5 anymore.
All right, another land here for Sean McLaren. He's going to pass the turn back. Pretty stable here. He does still have the Gavany Township problem, but he's at 12. He's now got a Celestial Colonnade that's active. He still has the wall plus Restoration Angel. He's also got a Lightning Bolt and a Arid Mesa in his hand. So he doesn't have any of his big finishes, but he's got a lot of momentum going here. And here's Revelark. A counter would be mighty nice here.
Well, Luis could pay for a Mana Leak, so it would have to be Cryptic.
It'd have to be Cryptic, and he doesn't have it. And Sean's posturing here, but once he says that resolves, Luis knows that he doesn't have it.
Yeah, you would Cryptic.
For sure.
I mean, you could Angel Flicker the Wall here, I guess, as a response.
And that is Oh, abrupt decay in the main to kill the wall means that the Angel's just a 3/4 flash flyer in this case. And Revelark is online. Another Angel off the top here for Sean McLaren. A well-timed abrupt decay.
Indeed.
So Sean McLaren, you know, he can just kill Revelark if he wants.
Who wants to kill Revelark?
Never, but I mean, so Luis gets back Murderous Red Cap and a Noble Hierarch at the moment, which is manageable, not fun.
Sure, there have been worse Revelarks.
Worse than that, yeah. Once you get that Witness going and stuff, that's when it gets really ugly.
Second Lightning Bolt, but Luis is way up at 21. Damage isn't relevant, and you are not going to be able to trade Lightning Bolts for Luis's creatures profitably.
No.
Not when one of them's Revelark.
No, this is, you know, this is the big difference between the deck that Sean's running today versus the one that he was running at the Pro Tour, is that his Pro Tour deck played like a control deck. He's going to bolt the bird here.
Okay.
But it also had a really strong burn finish with Snapcaster Mage and a suite of burn spells. But this list
lightning
is different.
Helixes, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And this one's different. He doesn't have that this time.
Right. I'm surprised by the only 2 Snapcasters as well.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you have to make room if you're going to put a combo finish in your deck, but wow, Snapcaster Mage. Have you read that one?
I have.
That's a good card.
I agree.
And Luis is going to offer the trade here, Revelark for Restoration Angel. Actually, it's not even a trade, is it, with the Gavany Township up? And Sean doesn't have enough mana in hand to cast an Angel. He could block and bolt, but man, that just feels like you're falling so far behind if you do that. And Luis declines to use his Gavany Township there. He just said, sure, take 4.
Kind of an interesting draw from Luis's deck. He does not have a pod, and yet he's winning the long-term value game anyway.
Yeah.
And even doing it against a control deck.
Hey.
Hello.
There's a Birthing Pod. And he did pay 2 life to cast it as well. Again, his life total is under no threat whatsoever, and Luis has options now for sure.
Yeah, he paid because he wanted the ability to both pay for Mana Leak and then activate the pod.
Right. So he can go get a 6, which I don't think he has any of. He can go get a 4 or a 3, though, which he has plenty of.
Only 1 Kitchen Finks in Luis's list.
Really?
Yeah. No, I was imagining him fetching a second Kitchen Finks last game, and it just wasn't there.
Wow, and Eternal Witness is going to eat a Lightning Bolt here. But Luis can't be super bummed to see that in his yard with the Revelark on the board that's going to just keep on attacking. I mean, that thing has to go somewhere at some point, right? Like, it can't just stay on the board and have Sean McLaren win the game. If that's the case,
it's not like Sean has a way to kill it. Like, his deck basically doesn't ever kill Giant Flyer.
Yeah, I mean, he can just double block with Restoration Angels, but I mean, now there's an Eternal Witness in the yard, too. Right. So it just gets out of control for him.
No, Sean needs to draw Kiki Jiki.
Yeah.
I mean, that's basically what he's doing. He just needs to stall long enough to draw exactly Kiki Jiki. Any one of those 3 would do it, right? It's just an instant win on the spot at the combo with Restoration Angel.
Yes. It absolutely is. There's Sin Collector for Luis Scott Vargas after he cashed in his Wall of Roots.
Interesting.
Revealing the other Restoration Angel that, of course, we knew about, but he didn't. And
yeah, I don't know.
Luis is out of cards.
Well, you're never out of cards when you have Birthing Pod in play,
Sure,
right?
I just mean he has nothing in hand, so Sean McLaren, the way is clear. If he can find Kiki Jiki, he can just seal this thing up. He does have the red sources needed as well. It's always a concern when you're running triple red card in what's basically a blue-white deck.
Yeah, I wonder how well Luis even knows Sean's deck. Right, Luis may think he's playing against essentially the control deck that won the Pro Tour. It's the first time Sean's been on camera. Never sure how much scouting goes on in a situation like this. Oh, there's the main deck Thoughtseize. Probably a surprise to Sean. Sean's maybe trying to think, what? He's got main deck Thoughtseize. That makes sense. All right.
He's going to cast Restoration Angel. And it looks like he's going to Path to Exile something here as well. And that way the Thoughtseize will blank.
Right. Well, that Spike Feeder is an instant combo. I mean, Luis is 2 turns away from winning the game with Spike Feeder. Well, that is, can win the game with Spike Feeder Archangel next turn. Right, he can turn Sin Collector into any random 4 and then turn the 4 into an Archangel of Thune. And McLaren sees exactly that line, so he just wants to get Spike Feeder off the board.
So talk to us about how the Spike Feeder combo works with the Archangel.
Sure, Archangel says whenever you gain life, everything in all your creatures get +1/+1 counters. So you can remove a counter from Spike Feeder to gain life. Everybody gets a +1/+1 counter, including the Spike Feeder. Oh, hey, look, there's another counter I can remove. And you just keep going, so you gain infinite life, and all of your creatures gain infinite +1/+1 counters.
Okay.
So, I mean, anybody, infinite life, fine. You could just wait, say go, and win next turn
but
by attacking with your giant creatures.
But it's interesting, because Sean can match infinite. Right? He can say, well, name your number.
Sean wins on the spot, right? As long as any
Yes.
one of Luis's creatures has the ability to attack, getting those infinite +1/+1 counters will usually win on the spot.
Right, as long as something can get through. But if it can't, and Sean can find Kiki Jiki and still have the Angel,
Sean's
he
combo
actually can
go more infinite.
Yes.
Yeah, there's no life
Infinite
total.
+1.
There's no life total Luis can ever get to, which is safe from Sean's Kiki Jiki combo.
Right.
That's a good point. Wow, Angel is now chump blocking Revelark. I mean, you do what you got to do.
You do. But TikTok, you mentioned it. Here we go.
Well, with the Spike Feeder in the yard, oh, that's going to flicker the Revelark.
Oh, no.
Jeez, Restoration Angel flickers Revelark. Trivialing Revelark's ability. Luis gets the Eternal Witness, gets the red cap, Spike Feeder. Okay, yeah, he gets red cap, Eternal Witness,
Goodness
and puts the Spike Feeder in his hand. Wow.
This is a big draw step here for Sean McLaren. We need to see a lot of red mana symbols on that card.
Yeah, if that's not Kiki Jiki, then Luis can go get this Archangel. It's funny, this Archangel Spike Feeder combo is one that Luis is convinced is good. The Canadian team, face-to-face games, McLaren scoops him up.
Okay.
And he knows that he's dead next turn due to that combo. So the Canadian team, Sam Pardee, Jacob Wilson, who finished second at the Pro Tour, those guys cut this combo from their deck. They don't play Archangel Thune Spike Feeder.
Okay.
Because they think that the creatures are just individually too clunky to be worth it.
Ah, I see.
They're like, I mean, Spike Feeder is clearly below the curve, right? It's
Right.
a 3-mana 2/2 that can gain 4 life. It's no kitchen finks.
No, it's not.
Right? It is not good enough, but it does give you this infinite combo with Archangel of Thune, so Luis has gone with it.
All right.
So here's our other match. This is Brandon Nelson, right?
That's right. Brandon Nelson on the left there.
And these guys are 9-0.
I think that's Junyoung Park on the right, maybe?
It is, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
And he's playing the Scape
Korean
Shift.
player playing the MTG Mint Scape Shift list.
That's right. And it seems to be Birthing Pod over here as well, potentially.
So Brandon Nelson is for Freak's little brother, right? Not actually Brad Nelson's brother, despite the shared last name. But
Yeah.
if you go by Mitgo, his nom de plume, I don't know, game name?
I like game name.
Game name. I forget what the French word for game is. Nom de jeu? I think it's jeu. Anyway.
So June draws an uncastable.
So what is Brandon playing? Is he
Card.
playing Pod?
It looks. I mean, these are pod.
It's two
cards.
Voice of Resurgences.
Yeah, there's a Birthing Pod in his hand as
Okay,
well. So.
great. But with multiple Voice of Resurgence, which the pod lists have been,
Have they been trimming those?
yeah,
Still seems so sweet.
yeah. I mean, they're fine. How many does Luis have? Oh, he's got 3. Okay.
And you guys are good to begin as soon as you're ready. All right.
And Voice of Resurgence Beatdown looks like the name of the game here for Brandon Nelson.
Okay, Junyoung Park just needs to get 7 mana and then needs to cast Scape Shift. I'm guessing 7's up getting enough. Yeah, those 2 Thoughtseizes surely got Nelson under 18. I mean, if you can preserve...
They must have.
If you can be over 18 life, you force the Scape Shift player to get to 8 lands, is essentially why that number's relevant.
Finally a third land here.
He's been doing a pretty good
For
beatdown here,
Nelson.
though, right?
Yeah, he has. It looks like he really got a lot of value off of that first Birds of Paradise as he's cast 2 white spells with no white lands. It finally died, but I think the damage was done by that point. With 2 Voice of Resurgence also, it gets pretty out of control if, you know, we're looking at June's hand. He's got, like, Remand in his hand. He's got
he has.
Command. It's
normally
like,
the plan with Scape Shift is just point those at whatever spell comes out and slow them down.
Right.
But Voice of Resurgence makes that plan a lot less exciting.
And 2 of them makes it super scary.
Huh. Can't afford to counter the Birthing Pod. Doesn't want to give 2 token creatures.
I don't know what people know as a player.
Wow, there it is. Remand, trigger. So Park looks like he's ready to play a land and go off next turn.
If he's got land 7 and Scape Shift, then that seems clearly correct.
Yeah.
If he doesn't have land 7 and Scape Shift, then it's a little sketchy. Maybe, I think I saw Cryptic Command. If he's planning to tap everything next turn, then whatever.
I mean, I don't know what his life total is because we're just on a sort of peek-in match. But I mean, he just, like Nelson, just made what, 2 4/4s?
Yeah, no, I'm guessing maybe Jun-Young Park can take the 2 voices this turn.
Sure.
But if he ever gets attacked again.
All right, let's head back over to our main feature match.
I want to see how this turns out.
We'll get an update from our table judge to let us know if he had it. But we're underway here with turn 1 Thoughtseize from Luis Scott Vargas. We're going to get a chance to see Sean McLaren's hand, which is Path to Exile, Mana Leak, Wall of Omens, Rest in Peace, Electrolyze, and Colonnade. So a 2-land keep here, double Colonnade for Sean McLaren, but he does have a couple of nice cards. He's got the Wall of Omens to help keep him alive and keep his land drops flowing.
It's got a path, it's got a leak, it's got a wall.
Yeah, it's a fine keep.
Rest in Peace is good. You definitely keep that hand. Even with two lands that both come into play tapped is certainly slow, but
yeah. And then he's got a Rest in Peace here, which is interesting as well.
Have we gotten a look at LSV's hand? Not sure what he's supposed to take here. I mean, depending on his draw, Rest in Peace is certainly. I mean, that's the sideboard card. Sean obviously believes it's impactful enough in the matchup.
Luis has a little bit of a land-heavy hand. It looks like. I think he's got a.
And he does take the Rest in Peace. Yeah. So here's the thing. Rest in Peace is normally really good against the pod decks because it turns off the Malira combo.
Right.
Right. The namesake combo of Malira, you know, with a persist creature, that's where the deck gets the combo from. But do you know how LSV found room for those Thoughtseizes in his main deck?
How?
He cut Malira. He's not actually playing Malira Pod. He's playing Birthing Pod.
This deck is Malira Pod. That's the deck.
That's not Luis's version.
Wow, interesting.
No Malira combo. No Viscera Seer. No Malira. I mean, we talk about clunky creatures that you play only for the sake of the combo.
Yeah, no
Viscera Seer is the poster child, right?
Absolutely. And Malira.
Yeah, Malira's better than Viscera. But
wow, interesting.
Right. No, it's a really interesting
list. So now you get people like Sean McLaren's bringing in
Rest
in Peace, which happens to also, though, mess with still quite a few of the value cards.
I mean, Eternal Witness is good.
Yeah.
Eternal Witness, Revelar. Yeah. It's still a relevant card.
Persist in general. Yeah.
It's not the silver bullet that Sean thinks it is.
Interesting. Here's a Spellskite for Luis Scott Vargas, passing the turn back to Sean, who's still sort of developing his board and his mana. Not really ready to make any big play. This is really funny. Both of these players have put a twist on traditional decks and are kind of like, I've got some up my sleeve.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
You know, I don't think Luis has seen the
Kiki-Jikis
yet.
Right.
And he doesn't really have a great reason to believe that Sean will be on anything other than what he played at the Pro Tour.
Right. He even had it's only one Cryptic Command in Sean's list, but he drew it like game 1.
There you go. This is pretty cool.
There's one Sphinx's Revelation in McLaren's list too, so he can play the control game.
So Mana Leak on hand for Sean McLaren here.
Okay. Yep.
Mana Leak for Entomber Exarch. Sean defending the rest of his hand.
So Sean has a couple of different colorless value lands there. He's also got Tectonic Edge, as we can see. Potentially limit the effectiveness of the Gavany Township plan that Luis Scott Vargas can easily put into effect by just casting some creatures and having the township. There's another Thoughtseize. So Luis is really going to work on Sean McLaren's hand here, which is double Restoration Angel, Electrolyze, Wall, and a Path to Exile here. So it looks like he's got a Restoration Angel lined up potentially for this turn. He can just start applying pressure.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, Luis hasn't done anything.
That is absolutely the plan.
Yeah. And that's got to, I mean, Luis has got to be pretty bummed to see that, too. I mean, Restoration Angel blinking a wall is just going to undo the Thoughtseize, at least some percentage of it, and also just provide a clock for Sean.
Yeah, he takes the second Angel because of exactly the clock concerns you're talking about.
Yeah.
He may, I think, Luis has another Thoughtseize. Luis does have a third Thoughtseize in his hand. But
they're getting progressively worse here. I mean, the angels get flashed
look,
in.
if he could get that angel, he'd be happy to take away the 3/4 flyer, but he's not going to get it. Sean will respond if Luis casts an additional Thoughtseize.
And Luis does
still got to do
that,
it.
yeah.
But yeah, this is going to get greeted by an angel. That target would have been way too obvious.
And he draws one of his other sideboard cards, Relic of Progenitus here.
He is
so
attacking LSV's graveyard.
He really is.
Yeah, LSV has his Revel Arc in his hand drawn naturally. It's why he actually cared enough about the graveyard cards to take them out.
Okay.
But
is the only card in his yard that matters is the Exarch, though, currently? All right, and there's Path to Exile from Luis. So Luis is actually playing the control game here.
Crazy.
Multiple hand disruption spells and a removal spell.
Oh, I guess we're stable now.
Yeah, we are, and that's interesting too. It's a mountain. No hesitation there from Sean, because he does not have enough mana to cast Kiki Jiki.
That's his
even
first
if he
red
had
source?
it. He's his second. He's got a Steam Vents, yeah. And a Restoration Angel just peels it like a champ and says go. So Luis has Revel Arc. He's going to cast it here. And it resolves. And there's Restoration Angel, Blinking Wall, and drawing what looks to be a land. Can't quite see. Oh, maybe not.
I saw a flash of red.
Oh, no, it's Anger of the Gods.
Anger of the Gods.
But he's also got Relics, so this is pretty nice for him. He can take out graveyards if he wants here.
Yeah, he can use the Relic to essentially neutralize the Revel Arc.
Exactly, and he can, of course, kill the Revel Arc as well. So this is pretty good for him. He's going to do this, and then I think he's just going to fire off that Anger of the Gods.
No graveyard.
Here. Oh, that's interesting, though. Now he's also found a mana leak. Though I think it's time to just get rid of Revel Arc here. And if you look at it,
also
Luis
allows him
Scott
to attack
Vargas,
with the Angel.
Yeah, Luis is at 9.
It's a 3-turn clock.
Yeah, it just hit you. And he can hit him for, actually he can kill him next turn. He's
With
got a
Colonnade.
Colonnade.
Oh, Colonnade.
Yeah, that's 7. And that's going to do it. Sean McLaren just sweeps that game up quite nicely there to even things up and force a game 3.
So Luis dealt 11 to himself with Thoughtseizes and lands.
He did.
McLaren dealt the last 9 in 2 turns.
Just 2-shotted him.
Huh. That's a weird little game.
Rashad, do we know who won that last game on the secondary match?
Yeah. It looks like they're also shuffling. So
Brandon Nelson did win it. So
Shinyoung Park was not.
He was going for it, and apparently didn't.
Yeah, it made sense.
Yeah.
Oh, and Tumor Exarch took Scapeshift out of his hand.
Okay.
You can see why he remanded the Birthing Pod. He didn't want that to happen. So I guess he remanded the Birthing Pod because he knew there would be some hand destruction cards coming out.
Yeah.
Trying to defend his Scapeshift.
And then must have missed that land drop because he was on 6.
Yeah, he was on 6. I guess he couldn't, didn't have the 7th land?
Yeah, must have been.
Yeah, no 7th land, just needed to top deck a land, and he was capable of buying a turn with Cryptic Command, tapping everything and drawing a card, except that doesn't beat Tumor Exarch stealing the Scapeshift out of your hand.
No, it doesn't. He'd have to draw another Scapeshift. Take a look at Sean McLaren here, our latest Pro Tour champion. Pro Tour top 8's 1, Pro Tour wins 1. Not too bad.
Yeah, I mean, he's played events here and there. You see the second place at Canadian Nationals a while ago, 3 pro points last year.
Yeah, I mean, he has 0 Grand Prix top 8s, and that might come as a shock to you considering that he's a Pro Tour champion, but the reasoning is he's a Magic Online player. He plays Magic Online almost exclusively.
Right.
And that's where he's really honed his skill.
Yeah, he's got a Mox appearance, right? He played the Magic Online Championships last year.
Yep, he did.
There you go. Seems like Pro Tour Born of the Gods champion should in fact be on there. I agree with you, Rashad. That back table match, that's a 9-0, 9-0 too. It's a big game.
Oh, yes.
That's a really tight game 1 too. A lot on the line. Peeking in
that might
on
have
their
been game 2 as well. Are they in 2 or in 3, Rashad?
It's true. And Tumor Exarch's not normally in the main. It's normally a sideboard card. I mean, all the pod lists, like Sin Collector has moved into the main. LSV's got a Sin Collector main. But his Entomber Exarch's in the board. I don't know if Brandon has gone all the way to Entomber Exarch main or if that was in fact game 2. Yeah, there's the voice again. See if we can find out if this is game 2 or game 3. This is game 3. Okay. Yeah. So Scapeshift won the first game quickly. Brandon Nelson won the second game with that Entomber Exarch plucking the Scapeshift away on the last possible turn. Now what? We will keep you updated, but let's see how the main feature match goes.
Okay, well, I saw one thing. I saw Is It Charm taking down the the Voice of Resurgence.
That's good.
Get that pesky thing off the board.
Should
at
buy
least
quite a bit of time.
The first time, exactly.
Here's the start you really want when you're playing Birthing Pod. Beta into beta.
Oh, yeah. Beta Forest into beta Birds. I love that. Though beta Birds dies to an M10 Lightning Bolt just the same.
Yeah. It's been dying a Lightning Bolt forever.
Forever. I have a set of beta bolts.
Yeah?
Beautiful card.
Nice.
And there's Voice of Resurgence once again on our feature match area, this time for Luis Scott Vargas. This would be a fine time for a Path to Exile for Sean. He's going to crack an Arid Mesa here. And let's see what his play is. Voice of Resurgence can go from being something kind of ignorable for a while all the way up to something that can be a major issue.
Right. A lot of it depends how permission heavy Sean's draw is.
Right. You know, he could play something like a Wall of Omens here. And there's the wall.
Well, it certainly blunts the attacking ability of the voice, but I saw at least a mana leak in Sean's hand. Looks like 1 mana leak is what is being turned off.
And there's a Spell Skite now as well, so the window has closed for Path to Exile on the Voice of Resurgence. I like that Sean's deck can be proactive too, though. Like he can just try to combo off. Though we haven't actually seen. Does he? Is there a chance he just pulls Kiki Jiki out? Like we haven't seen a single one drawn for him, and he's gone through a pretty good chunk of his deck in game 2.
I don't think you sideboard that out. I mean, what's he winning with?
Yeah, no,
I'm combo. He's
just beating down,
hoping to attack with 3/4 flyers. No, there's no way he pulled the combo.
Well, I mean, you can win with those in Colonnade. I mean,
no, you can.
Yeah,
but that's Plan B.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, Kiki Jiki's awesome value in this deck, too. It's a lot of, like, just Kiki Jiki to make a new Wall of Omens every turn.
Yes.
It's like, it's tap draw a card.
Absolutely.
If you get a Snapcaster Mage, it's, you know, tap flashback something from your graveyard. And it's kind of elegant the way that card functions in this deck. It gives him the combo finish, but it's also really good value.
Luis Scott Vargas takes a peek at his card and just ships a turn back.
Well, I mean, 2 land is not where you want to be.
He's just not be able to do much here.
That Beta Bird had work to do. Lightning Bolt essentially mana screwed Luis. I see Pod in his hand.
I also see Thoughtseize, and he has no black mana. That bird was going to do a lot of work this game. So Luis needs to find a black mana source here.
Yeah, the basic 4 is Temple Garden draw. It's not the best either. No fetch lands. Oh, he did have a fetch land, but he got the Temple Garden?
Yeah. He wanted to cast Voice.
Sure. Yeah, he had basic forest and then fetch land, so he either could get green white or green black, and he wanted the Voice. It makes sense. It's just the beta forest has not done good work.
No.
The beta forest needed to be a multi-land.
They chose the wrong artwork for it, I think, is the main issue. All right, there it is. Verdant Catacombs off the top for Luis, and we are in business here.
Yeah, it's not like Sean has punished him.
No, but it looks like Sean says...
Well, he might respond to the fetch
he's
land.
responding here, though...
What's he going to respond with, right?
I don't know. I mean, he's got spells he can cast, but that Voice of Resurgence can get out of hand.
I mean, Spellskite also prevents some of them.
Right.
Interesting. What are you casting?
Oh, is that Shadow of Doubt?
That is Shadow of Doubt.
Wow. Now, is Luis going to get a token here?
Yeah, the Channel Fireball sleeve.
Oh, there it is right there. Okay. But Sean McLaren
Rashad,
said
you want to pull up Shadow of Doubt for people?
Shadow of Doubt's a card that gets play in Modern a little bit. It
Right.
doesn't pop up that often, but you can take a look at it on your screen there. And
Players can't
that is
search libraries.
a dagger. I mean, that is
And draw a card.
so brutal. And you get to draw a card as well.
Right. If you think stifling a fetch land is good.
Yes.
This is stifling a fetch land and drawing a card.
Cantripping. Yeah, it's I've played that card in Modern, and, you know, it's not great, but when you get somebody, you get them.
Yes, sir.
And remember, you know, that works on other stuff, too. It's not
Yeah,
just for
Birthing
fetch
Pod, for
lands.
example.
Birth Pod, yeah. So, pretty sweet. But at least Luis did get a creature out of the deal. Shrug. It's a 3/3.
Yeah, he got a Voice of Resurgence token, but I
Yeah.
mean, so devastating that he was good even through Voice of Resurgence.
Yeah, I think he would rip up that token in favor of a land with black mana, no problem. And McLaren just does land go for the turn here.
Well, I mean, McLaren's got a reactive control hand, right? He's got an Electrolyze, got a Lightning Bolt.
But, I mean, he's going to start casting more stuff on Luis's turn. All right, looks like he just wants to loot house here. Which, with that many cards in his hand, is probably pretty close to just drawing
He's still
a
holding
card.
the Mana Leak. I mean, he's willing to...
Yeah.
Although, if he gives Luis a fourth creature, suddenly those Wall of Omens don't do
Right.
nearly as good a job at blocking.
Yeah, and Luis is either going to cast a creature that he can cast, or he's going to draw a land and be able to
Sean
cast
drew
something.
the one copy of Sphinx's Revelation in his list.
For 4, and this is just getting out of control here.
Wow.
Look at Sean's hand. I mean,
Yeah.
this is not a Modern-sized hand very often.
No, I mean, he's not actually putting forward a very proactive game plan here. I mean,
He could
he's
be.
giving Luis time to draw
Yeah.
lands. The Shadow of Doubt was ridiculous.
Was ridiculous, but he's also got Colonnade. He could have hit last turn and this turn and had Luis down to 8 here if he wanted. All right, there's a Wall of Roots
Wall
that's
of
just going to
Roots.
make the token a 4/4 and
Mhm.
enable an attack here. And Sean's going to chump block to not take 4, stay at the full 20 life here.
He still can't draw Kiki Jiki. That's not the red card, right?
No, that's
Oh,
Anger.
Anger is...
Is Anger good here?
Kills the Voice, which means there's only 3 creatures, so it also kills the token?
Yes, it does. It does not kill the Spellskite or the Wall of Roots currently.
Right. Or the Wall of Omens.
Or the Wall of Omens, right?
It's not bad.
It's not bad at all.
Takes out the Voice. It removes the Voice from the game, so it doesn't trigger again.
Correct.
And then, yeah, once the Voice is gone, that means the token is take 3 toughness and has taken 3 damage. Yeah, that's pretty good. Now Luis is down to 2 walls
How
and 2
is
land.
Luis going to get out of this?
I'm not sure he is. Yeah, now without the Voice,
Like, what does that look
suddenly
like?
the Mana Leak is turned on, the Cryptic Command is turned on. I'll tell you how Luis gets out of this. He wins the next 5 and avenges this loss in the top 8.
Okay.
That's how Luis gets out of this.
Look, you came up with a plan.
I mean, it might only need 4 in a draw. I haven't really done the math. Oh, jeez. Electrolyze to finish off the wall. Still no 3-mana spell for you.
I mean, he's going to finish off the Spellskite or the Wall.
Yeah, Luis has not had 3 mana at any point in this game.
No.
Yeah, you pay, you're right. You pay, down goes Spellskite.
Yeah, the mana's more important.
Yeah.
There's a Wrath of God? Right? Isn't that like an old
White border
Quentin
Wrath
Hoover
of God.
Wrath of God or something?
It might have been a portal art. I'm not sure.
This is the last call to sign up for the
Birthing pod. He wins now, right? He's got birthing pod.
That's how this is supposed to work.
He doesn't even have the mana to activate
No,
it.
he doesn't.
Stage immediately. Last call to sign up for the Sunday Super Series.
Luis Scott Vargas is at 12 life here.
Yeah, McLaren does have 2 copies of Wrath of God in his
Okay.
sideboard. That's better than Supreme Verdict?
Gets through Thrun.
Counterable, though.
Very counterable.
Wow.
All right,
Cryptic
there's-
Command bounces the pod.
Cryptic bounces the pod, draws him yet another card here. Plays a land. He's going to make him remove something, and he's going to say go. So now he's going to be able to mana leak the pod if Luis goes for that again. Getting stuck on. I mean, Luis has been stuck on
Yeah, he's
2/3 lands forever now.
Yeah.
He did have a third land.
And he had a gorgeous Beta Bird of Paradise.
Yes.
But Sean had answers to both the Beta Bird and the fetch land.
And the fetch land.
Yeah, the Shadow of Doubt was absolutely backbreaking.
It
here.
was. All right, Birthing
Okay,
Pod's going
pay
to get
to
mana
again,
leaked here.
I guess. Get it mana leaked? Yeah.
And Luis has to
discarding.
move to discard. So
I don't think that was the plan with the Thoughtseize he had in his opening hand.
No.
Discarding it on turn, what is this?
yeah,
10?
20 or whatever.
I
Yeah.
think it's 10. I don't think Sean's missed a land drop.
All right,
Maybe
and
11.
now Sean is going to go into proactive
Yeah.
mode, beat down. If he has any type of burn spell in his hand, he can kill him next turn, and I think he might have an Electrolyze floating around down there too, which would be just perfect. If you see the end step Electrolyze here, it'll probably be the end of things. Luis just has had a terrible draw. He has drawn a land this turn. It's Verdant Catacomb, so there is a world where he can do something, but and that thing's going to get mana leaked.
Leak your Kitchen Finks.
Play a land.
Electrolyze you.
And a turn Electrolyze you, and that's going to do it. And Sean McLaren improves to 9-1 here. And Luis Scott Vargas has just an awful draw that last game with a little help from Sean.
Yep.
And he's going to be 8-2, so he's still got a lot of work to do for the rest of the day. Not the way he wanted to start it off.
Is that Scape Shift?
That's Scape Shift.
That looks like Scape Shift. Do we get here just for the...
Do we have any of our other matches over there too, Rashad? Do we know if Jake's over there rustling just to make sure?
Where? So this is just counting up the damage. What are they? Why are they still playing?
Yeah, usually when Scape Shift is sitting on the board in the middle like that, things are in the show me enough mountains phase of the game, and then it ends. Oh, is he value Valakuting here to blow up creatures?
Brandon was at 19, so that wasn't
he
lethal.
couldn't kill him. And he was going to kill, and Brandon was going to kill him with his creatures.
Wow.
The value cut? That's not great. That's not what
Value cut.
He's going to need
Hilarious.
The problem is doing it twice can be pretty difficult with his deck if he doesn't have enough mountains.
Well, it's not that hard. He can leave some of the mountains in play.
Okay.
He won't need 6 triggers from the next one.
Right. So he did get to hit Brandon for a couple of them.
Right. So he got 6 triggers there, right? Oh, it looks like he left a mountain and a Valakut in play. Scape shifted for 5. Got 5 mountains, each of which triggered. So he killed a creature, did some damage to Brandon.
Yes.
Guys, like Scape shift's in play and they're shuffling the deck. You just don't see that state very often.
You see that sometimes from the Storm deck when they need to do a Grape Shot just to help mitigate the board state, but you don't see that from this particular combo deck very much, no.
Yeah, so I guess Kitchen Finks saved Brandon. He would have been dead right there. Oh, I thought this was a 9-0-9-0 match. My apologies. I knew Brandon was undefeated, but his undefeated was actually 8-0-1. And he got paired down. Still, 2 players in prime position. So 3 Valakut triggers took Brandon down to 10, and Jung chose to leave more mountains in his deck. Don't you kill Kitchen Finks there? Like, if you're value cutting, you're scape shifting just to stabilize, don't you want to flicker the Kitchen Finks?
I'd think so.
rather than deal 3?
I mean, it shrinks it down.
Right.
Makes it so he can only birthing
makes
pot
it
at
so-
once at
exactly.
some point. Yeah.
I mean, obviously, we came in right in the middle and may have missed something about the board state, but
Oh, geez, there's another kitchen finks, this time in the form of Phyrexian Metamorph.
Those are 12, 4? 14. Right, because you paid no less on the board.
we didn't get deck lists for these guys, right? We did not. We only got the main feature match.
Anything more?
Jungung Park is at 4, so that's lethal damage.
Seems to be the case here.
Looks like he's just drawing a card off the top. And now he's thinking. I wonder what he drew.
He's staring down 5 damage here. And an active birthing pod to boot.
No, he's got an Ancient Grudge in his yard.
Okay, he's got a grudge.
So he can kill the Metamorph and only take 2. Or he can kill the Birthing Pod,
Yes.
but not both.
No. But he doesn't die, even though there are, and he's going to have to do it now. There's Gavany Townships.
Yeah,
There's actually 3 of them, but
hilarious. He still dies to Pod Finks into Murderous Redcap.
Up top or down?
Down, up.
Junyoung Park looks like he is in a terrible position here.
Yeah.
But he does have some
Man.
options.
He got the 7 mana, had Escape Shift, but that 19th point of light, not if we keep talking about that.
Yes.
It is shocking. It doesn't seem like it would matter. Like, you could go off and deal 18. You could just wait a turn and deal 21.
Right.
Comes up a lot.
Brandon Nelson keenly aware of how that works. It's a whole extra turn for him if he can keep his life total above 19, which he was able to do. Or 19.
Oh,
or
Jungung
above.
Park is 9-0. Okay. Yeah, they are undefeateds.
Okay. Well,
Was
he
undefeated?
was 9-0.
Was
Yeah, I mean,
undefeated.
we're not calling it quite yet here. He is doing a lot of thinking here.
Yeah, we haven't seen the card in his hand.
No,
Ancient
but-
Grudge alone doesn't seem like it's good enough because I got to imagine Brandon has a red cap in his deck somewhere.
Grand competitors, that is time in the round.
All right, so Jun passes the turn back and leaves Brandon with both active Birthing Pod and active Gavany Township here.
Time was just called in the round, by the way, so
Okay.
I don't know if these guys have a time extension or if this is the first extra turn.
So Brandon drew a land. I think he's also got a Spellskite floating around in his hand there too,
They have a 3-minute extension.
which is the 3-minute
They
extension.
have a 3-minute time extension. Okay,
Sure.
not quite an extra turns yet.
But Brandon's
Yeah?
like, he's like,
Yeah.
I got lethal. You got to do something. Oh, it's Snapcaster.
Snapcaster.
But he couldn't Snapcaster for Scape Shift.
Can I block?
What are we missing? Why couldn't he just Snapcaster Scape Shift?
Maybe he's out of mountains. I don't know, but he's named Is It Charm.
Uh-huh.
He targeted that, and he's going to blocks right now. He said, "Can I block?" And Brandon's like, "Sure, man. Block away." So the Is It Charm can take down the second Kitchen Finks, and he can use the Ancient Grudge in his yard to take down the Birthing Pod before Brandon has a chance to use it. The problem is that Brandon can use Gavany Township in response to the Is It Charm here to save the Kitchen Finks with the counter on it.
Mm-hmm. Does Metamorph Persist work?
Yes, and it comes back and you get to copy something else potentially.
You just copy something else. It doesn't always come back as a Kitchen Finks. It comes back as
Right.
a choice to copy whatever, but with a -1/-1 counter.
Exactly.
Makes sense. Why did he not Snapcaster the Escape Shift? What are we missing? He can't have just missed that play, right?
Of course not. The only thing I can think of is the mountains thing.
It would have taken 5 mountains, basically, with Brandon at 14.
Yeah.
Really doesn't have 5 mountains left in his side. It is possible. There's 6 in play. I think these lists play 10.
10, yeah.
So that's why he spent so much time looking at his graveyard and counting and thinking. He was a mountain short. That's insane.
That's insane. He's going to do 2 damage to the Phyrexian Metamorph that got blocked by Snapcaster Mage. The question I have is, how the heck does Juneyun Park live or win from here?
No, I don't know. I have no idea.
I mean, obviously he should do everything he can to survive here, but
yeah, if Scapeshift
what's
isn't
the plan?
lethal, what do you do? Right. And you know what? That also explains why he didn't flicker the Kitchen Finks. Like why he knocked Brandon down to 10 rather than kill a Kitchen Finks when he was value cutting. Crazy.
All right, so June takes 2, falls down to 2. Time of the round has been called, though it doesn't feel like that'll be a big issue here. I think that 5 turns looks like plenty of time to finish this thing up. He's going to sacrifice a 4 to get a 5 here. I guess he just goes for Rev.
Oh, is it a 3 because of it's a Finks?
Oh, it actually copies its converted mana cost. Okay, yep, there you go. Of course it does. Yeah.
Yep, so there's the red cap we talked about.
And you mentioned that he also had a Kitchen Finks on the battlefield he could have sacked.
Right.
That's going to do it. And Brandon Nelson's going to stay undefeated, though he does have...
Through 2 Scape Shifts.
Yeah, I guess
Game
so.
3 against Scape Shift. The Scape Shift player is in position to resolve Scape Shift twice.
And he just doesn't get there somehow.
He can't get there. He can't deal enough damage.
That was weird.